Welcome, summoners, to games cast by Pananuro. If you wish to see more commented games, follow my social media pages below. On the blue team, we do see Lulu and Ezreal down bottom, Lux in the mid, Rumble up top with, and Elise in the jungle. For the red side, we see a Caitlyn and Nunu down bot, Jayce up top, Trundle in the jungle, and a Xerath in the mid. This is the first time I've seen a Trundle jungle in a long time, and he's pretty good. But I do think they're going to just run a poke lineup, sit back behind his pillar, and just poke all game long. The advantage the blue team has is they do have a Lux in there, so she can poke it back a bit. Same thing with Elise and Ezreal. But they just don't have the power of the Jayce, Caitlyn, Xerath, who can just sit behind that Trundle pillar and never be engaged on. Another thing, the blue team does not have any really good engage. Unless they catch someone with like a Lux binding or an Elise web. But other than that, there's just no way to get on him. And even then, that's going to be hard to follow up. And I think Trundle is perfect in this lineup. He's a very niche pick, and he was picked up in this game. As we do see Elise rolling in. Okay, quality set up to max. And let's get this game rocking. Caitlyn has picked up Cleanse in case anyone does try to get in on her, but the only one who would actually be able to land a good CC on her would be Lux or Elise, and I don't think either one's going to have a very good chance of doing that. And right now it looks like we are going to see a pretty standard start from everyone. I don't think there's going to be any level 1 invades. They really just aren't that safe, and no one really likes doing them, especially in competitive play. They're really good for solo queue, but not here. For the red side, they are just looking to just follow up and start red, it looks like, with how they're positioning themselves. Or they could be doing a lane swap, but I think they're just going to kind of wait around, though the blue team is coming up here, and they're in position to actually fight this. Will they actually fight it? That was the question, but that trap from Caitlyn should keep them at bay, and Trundle could always just pick up pillar or something. He does spot them out, but it is a little late as he does take a good bit of damage, but he should be okay. No, he is not, as Trundle picks up the first blood. Trundle just waited a little too long, and there's a kill. Nice use of the binding by Lux to pick him up. Trundle not standing in a proper position that time. If he would have stood where he could actually see people entering the bush, he would have been... And when you're not decisive about where you want to be, you get picked off and give up first blood. And especially that 500 goal or so early game is really important. Especially that early, because it allows you to go back if you want to. Though I don't think... No, Rumble did go back. He picked up cloth armor and boots, which is going to counteract this lane swap. As we do see Nunu and Caitlyn going up top, with Jayce going down bottom. Jayce will have a rather nice time down here. Rumble should also have a pretty good time as long as he puts a point or two early into that electric harpoon. And this game should go out as normal. I expect to see a lot of farming early on and pushing done by both of these 2v1 lanes. And I don't expect to see a whole lot of fighting. Trundle's not that good at ganking. Elise isn't that good at ganking until later on, even though they are in pretty good positions, as they do have lanes they can set up well, like Nunu throwing the slow down, then Trundle putting up the pillar, Lux with the binding, or Xerath with his stun. They could easily set up a gank, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're just going to play it safe, farm up, and let everyone reach the mid game. Let that first blood goal kind of even out. And the big problem here is Caitlyn and Nunu lane got the first blood, and now they're going to be in a bit of trouble because Rumble does have that cloth armor. The extra armor from that is a lot. But I think the big thing the red team has going for them is they're going to be real pain in the rear come mid-game to actually have anything happen. They can just disengage all game long. Looks like Trundle did come for a gank mid, but Lux did just back out of it. Not a whole lot happened. Looks like Elise is going to jump on Trundle, and Trundle will just pop his stuff and run away. The big good thing there for the red team is Lux burned a lot of mana for all that, and it looks like Caitlyn and Nunu are just going to push down this tower. They aren't going to go for keeping Rumble under farm. They are just going to push. Rumble does have a ward. I think he should put it down there in the side bushes. That's a common gank place for mini junglers. Elise is going to come to the middle. And I'm not sure if she's going to actually be able to get onto Xerath, as Xerath is just a little too far away. And because the camera didn't flip there, we can definitely... At this point, we are going to see Rumble up top taking a lot of damage, even though he's still in pretty good shape thanks to a large wealth of potions. Jayce down bottom, having a real rough start, starting out with basically pure potions. And a few problems, as he is taking a lot of harassment from that Ezreal Lulu lane. And the question is going to be who pushes faster, the Caitlyn Nunu or the Ezreal and Lulu. Though Trundle does throw out a nice pillar, Lux can easily just walk away from it, as he didn't completely block off the side. Looks like Ezreal and Lulu are going to be doing a bit better this time, as Jayce takes a lot of damage, and he is just going to continually be in trouble. He's not going to have the minions or farm he needs to actually do anything this game. And that lane swap is really going to hurt them. I'm not sure lane swap was the best idea, as Rumble does do very well against basically anyone. He's using those electric harpoons to farm pretty well. So the big thing here is First Blood has been given out, and it was on Rumble. Though Caitlyn and Nunu are pushing pretty well now. They've kind of gotten their stride. And both of these towers are going to go down at about the same time. Looks like next wave, possibly one more for both sides. And then both top and bottom tower go down. Bottom tower is actually more important than top tower, purely due to the fact that it's closer to Dragon and all those early game objectives. Jay's getting zoned out down bottom and is in really bad shape. Caitlyn's going to set the trap for Rumble, but wise move by Rumble. Means that he has a chance to kill Caitlyn and will jump on Caitlyn, but Caitlyn goes down. This Rumble doing a great job of baiting Caitlyn in there. And he might actually have a chance to kill Nunu, but no, he does overheat. Trundle does come down bottom, but there's not a lot going down as Lulu takes a good bit of damage, but Jayce is in trouble as he is likely to go down if he probably continues much longer. And he does, with Lulu jumping away at the last second. Trundle does come in here, but he is going to go down unless Xerath finishes something off, but no, he's not going to be there in time, as Ezreal does pick up a double kill. And the blue team is starting to roll this game pretty well, though Xerath might be able to actually save the tower. I'm not sure he's going to actually be able to, or even want to try with both Elise and Ezreal here. And he is hasn't gone back to shop yet, so he is in a bit of trouble. Looks like Nunu and Caitlyn are going to rotate down mid to fight Lux out here. And they should be able to do just fine, as Ezreal will back away. Minions taking it, evening up the towers at 1-1. Blue team now has a 1,500 gold lead. We do see Lulu having picked up the Rejuvenation Bead and 8 Stone. Lux going for the Durance Ring, boots, and a bunch of potions. Elise going for the Spirit Stone in addition to boots. Rumble likely going to go for the Super Penetration build with the Haunting Guys and Sorcerer Shoes. Ezreal will go back, picks up a Brutalizer, and I think he's going to go for a Bloodthirster afterwards, as that seems what most Ezreals go. But yes, he has picked up a Vampiric Scepter just now. Caitlyn has picked up a Duran's Blade and a Vampiric Scepter. Trundle going for the Wriggle's Lantern. Nunu picking up a Fairy Charm and boots. Jayce going with the Vampiric Scepter and lots of potions. We do see Xerath with the Duran's Ring and boots and potions. It looks like they aren't actually lane swapping now. If they aren't going to lane swap, the blue team's just going to steal Dragon from right under him. Rumble's pretty good at this 2v1 and is doing exceptionally well considering he's picked up a kill in that lane, thanks to Caitlyn just not realizing the trap does aggro the tower. She took 2 shots from it instead of just the one that was taken. There's the ultimate by Rumble, and Rumble will be taking some damage, but Caitlyn is in a lot of trouble, and if he gets another lens spitter off, there we go. As Caitlyn goes down, and this Rumble is really winning the lane, and it's not even close. This is how you play Rumble, and it's also how you get a bit lucky on Rumble, because if he didn't have that cloth armor, he would be in a bit of trouble, but he isn't, so everything's all nice and good. Elise farming away at the jungle, as Jayce still continues to 2v1, and he is not doing terribly bad, sitting at 37 CS, but it's not terribly good either, as Ezreal is basically getting free farm, and has picked up multiple kills. I really think they have to switch back now and accept the fact that Jayce is going to have to go against Rumble. Jayce does just fine against Rumble. It's a pretty even matchup, with no lane really having an advantage. They can both just kind of farm it out till late game. right now we are seeing Rumble absolutely dominate. It looks like Caitlyn's going to go down bottom with Jayce heading up top. Nunu might go back as well. Yes, they're going to swap back to their proper lanes. But the big problem here is Rumble is so far ahead. I'm not sure Jayce is going to have a chance of staying in lane with him. Rumble has picked up that Hextech Revolver and is in good shape. He has Spell Penetration and Spell Vamp, and he should be able to just continually stay alive versus this Jayce. We are going to see Mercury treads up rather quickly on Trundle as he doesn't want to get caught by anything at this point. And I really like to see how this Xerath does. Xerath's been kind of underutilized for a while. Jayce is actually down 2 levels, and that means Jayce is going to get really hurt. As Caitlyn and Nunu are going to be in trouble. Jayce taking a lot of damage, but he does flash the ultimate. And that means that Rumble will not go down, as he does get his scrap shield up at the last second. In addition to this, Caitlyn and Nunu are getting absolutely bullied down bottom, but here comes Trundle. And will Trundle be actually able to stop Rumble? No, Rumble does get shut down by Jayce at the very last second. I'm kind of surprised that the kill's still on him and he wasn't just executed. But still, he's 4-1-0 with 51 CS, doing an absolutely incredible job up top. Looks like Caitlyn and Nunu can't even enter lane down bottom, so they're going to roam around and steal Trundle's jungle. And this Trundle has not been very effective this game. He's had a few opportunities to get things done, but just hasn't been able to really do enough damage. So Caitlyn and Nunu are going to run down mid lane, and they might actually just start a 3-man push. Could be 4 if Trundle decides to come in after picking up the red buff. And at this point in time, we are going to have Trundle continue to farm. Though Elise and Lulu have decided to come mid lane, allowing Ezreal to free farm down bottom. And Ezreal's really pulling ahead of the pack, sitting at 82 CS. In addition to those 2 kills, it is going to be very hard. And there's Caitlyn getting chunked down for a major chunk of health, and even burning Cleanse despite not actually dodging the Lux ultimate. And this Caitlyn is in deep trouble, having not even hit 6 yet. So Xerath is in position to actually burst someone down if he can land this combo, though I'm not sure he's going to be able to. He is bound again. Caitlyn does fire off her ultimate, and there is a big group up, and Trundle's going to come in from the side. I don't think Trundle was spotted walking in there, but I don't think it really matters as Ezreal's getting free farm down bottom. Rumble out top's also getting pretty much free farm against this Jayce. And that lane swap has really hurt the red side, as Jayce really does need to get some good farm right now. He's caught up in farm with Rumble, but he's down 2 kills. And being down 2 kills is never what you want to see. In addition to this, Caitlyn got really far behind from all of that. Caitlyn just did not have a chance in this bottom lane when she got back to it, as Ezreal was up fairly significantly and had picked up several kills. He just did a little too much damage, in addition to being a stronger early game lineup, with Lulu and Ezreal being way stronger early. Looks like Jayce is having some troubles up top, but it seems to be okay as Xerath is going to come up there, though I do think he's going to be spotted out as soon as he gets in there. I don't think Rumble wants to stay around for long, and Rumble doesn't have a tower to run to. So if they actually get on him, and yes, he was spotted out. It looks like Caitlyn is just going to put mid, and they're going to abandon bottom lane. I'm not sure I agree with the decision to abandon it. They could have kept someone there. Even Xerath just farming from a distance would have been fine. But they're going to rotate Caitlyn and Nunu. And I think if they send Xerath down bottom, it'll be okay. But Ezreal is getting so much golden experience. This game is not going on strong. There goes Trundle throwing out the ultimate, but Jayce is in a lot of trouble at this point. But it will mean Rumble going down, though will he actually get down? Yes, he does. Rumble does go down, but the cost of Jayce in that gank. Not a terrible trade, but still not a trade you really want to make. You want to get that 1 kill without the death. And they're 3-manning mid at this point, as I don't think they really want to contest Ezreal. Ezreal up to 160 CS. Ultimate goes out by Lux, doing some decent damage on the Caitlyn and Nunu, but not a whole lot more than just harassment. Though with Lux's ultimate cooldown being fairly low early on, she can just kind of spam it over and over again. Ezreal's finally pushed this wave past the destroyed tower down bottom for the red side, and someone's going to have to go down there and take this rather large minion. It's easily a level's worth of experience and several hundred gold. looks like Caitlyn will be forced down there as she does finish off the wolves. Blue buff has respawned and will likely be going to Xerath soon. Caitlyn throwing off Peacemaker and killing a bunch of minions. And Caitlyn will actually be able to farm a bit now and give Xerath back his lane. But the problem here is Ezreal is so far ahead at this point. He has just finished the Bloodthirster and the Brutalizer. Jayce up top. Not doing a whole lot through this Rumble. Rumble is very strong. He has picked up 100 guys at this point. Bucks has picked up the Needle Sea Large Rod. Likely going to go for a Death Cap or Zonya's Rush. And it looks like we do have Lulu with this Ruby Spirit Stone, or Sight Stone. And the Philosopher's Stone. Elise going very tanky with the Spirit Stone and Glacial Shroud. And Rumble has picked up the Hunting Guys in addition to the Hextech Bomber, and so Xerath just going to continually farm this mid lane. And he's not allowed to roam, and I don't think he's used his ultimate yet, but the red team is going to actually try and get this dragon. As Trundle with Blood Boil gets ridiculous attack speed, and allows him to just proc that Wriggle's Lantern over and over again. And that should actually help him come back. It's only a 2k deficit at this point, even though it is a lot bigger than 2k. Trundle lets those pillar up, and Lulu is in a bit of trouble as Caitlyn tries to land the Peacemaker over top. But not a lot happens, though. Lux does get pretty low. Xerath is not able to finish off the kill, and no one goes down here. Though Lux does throw her off the cross, and it does hit Caitlyn. But Lulu taken down by the last hit of Xerath. And that's a much needed kill as it gives them a lot of momentum. Though Ezreal is going to come in here and be pretty strong. Though Nunu should be able to shut him down, as Nunu's attack speed slow is pretty ridiculous. And I think he has it almost maxed at this point. Or at least a few points in it. Rumble up top, zoning Jayce off the tower. As the Hex Drinker does proc, and he does go down. As this Rumble picks up yet another kill. And despite being 2v1'd on, he has really dominated that lane. Especially thanks to the early first blood and tricking Caitlyn into taking a few extra tower hits. Looks like you do have Xerath picking up double Doran's rings, and he has picked up a Needle Sea Large Rod now. Jayce with the Hex Drinker and Vampiric Scepter in addition to Mercury Treads. Philosopher's Stone and boots up onto Nunu. With Trundle going for a Wriggle's Lantern almost completed in addition to the Mercury Treads. Caitlyn will likely go for the Bloodthirster or an Infinity Edge. I think she really needs the damage of the Infinity Edge this game, or she's going to be in a lot of trouble. Their team just does not have a lot of damage outside of her. They have a little bit with Jayce, but Jayce is just too far behind at this point. And Xerath's just a big burst. And once Xerath's burst combo is over, it really doesn't matter much for him. Lux does do a good bit of damage to Caitlyn and Xerath here, but they are just fine, and they're going to continue sieging the mid lane. It looks like a 5-man group up for the red side, as Jayce is going to come in from the side, though he will be spotted out by a ward. And they're going to look to push as Ezreal pushes down bottom and continues to grow his minion lead, sitting at 172 minions, almost perfect down bottom. It's looking very bleak for the red side, despite the gold lead only being 3,000 or so. The big problem here is where the gold is. All concentrated on Rumble and all concentrated on Ezreal. Two of the stronger carries for their team. And Lux is basically going to play a setup woman and support, as her light binding should be able to start a bunch of really nice fights. Looks like Rumble's going to try and come in the middle lane with Trundle here as well. Though Rumble will be dropping his ultimate on Trundle, but Trundle does just walk away. And Elise does take a good bit of damage. Ultimate from Lux flies, but nothing happens. As we do see, looks like Trundle's going to try and make something happen, but no. There's another bind that goes across, and both sides are grouping up as 4, soon to be 5 for the red team. But Ezreal's going to continue farming. I could show you him farming all day long, but that's going to be the story of this game. As soon as he actually enters these team fights, he is going to absolutely dominate whoever he finds. He has completed Bloodthirster. We see the Author's Torment up onto Rumble, and it looks like the blue team is just going to kind of give away this tower, poking from a distance and hope to catch someone. I don't foresee them being able to fight 4v5 just yet, especially with Rumble's ultimate down. If Rumble's ultimate was up, I think he'd be okay for doing a 4v5 fight, but until that's up. And now Lux's ultimate's down as well. And they're just poking Elise away. Elise is very low in health at this point. I'm not sure what they can do about that. They're going to have to back up and just give up this tower. Though Ezreal is coming in to take her place. And that should be just fine. And they should be able to 4v5 now. As they do have a good bit of damage and a lot of range. Considering Lux and Ezreal just poke from distance without actually getting into the fights. Rumble does overheat, but he should be okay in a few seconds. As the lanes are pushing out, and there's the ultimate from Rumble. It does a good bit of damage, but doesn't actually get the kill. Xerath stunning Rumble, but he does not go down. And everyone from the red side is low, but only that Rumble is low for the blue side. Ezreal does fly, but does not pick up a kill, so it does stop everyone from backing up. And this means that Jayce will have to back up, and everyone will be going home, though the ultimate does fly from Lux, does not have enough damage to kill Trundle. The big thing about that ultimate, though, is it does give vision, and with vision from that ultimate, they should be easily able to pick up this tower, possibly push it onto the second tower if they so choose, but I don't think they're going to do more than harass it down, as Ezreal has completed his Black Cleaver. Lux is about to finish off a death cap, and Lux is doing a ridiculous sum of damage. Ezreal is in a bit of trouble with Xerath lands ability, but no, Xerath just decides to back up and play it safe. And the red team really needs to get more out of their group up as 5 at this point. They have a really strong poke team. They can just sit behind Trundle's pillar and Jayce's knockback for pretty much ever. But they're not able to really contest anything, because they don't have the damage to force anyone away. It looks like Caitlyn will be going for the Infinity Edge up next. They're probably going to go for a Death Cap, as we do see Trundle going for the Aegis of the Legion most likely, and I think that'd be a very wise choice, as they definitely need the magic resistance, as Elise, Lux, and Rumble are very magic damage heavy. And even Lulu does put out a good bit of magic damage on her own, despite not having a large ability power pool. And we do see Berserker's Greaves up onto Ezreal, and nothing else new around the map. So Xerath's trying to jump in on Rumble. Will he actually get in there? I don't think so, as he is going to be forced to flash over the wall. He does live, but not very healthy. And Rumble gets away perfectly safe. It was a nice try, but Trundle never got there in time. Ultimate from Ezreal does fly across the blue buff area, but nothing happens. As the blue team is just really taking control of this game. They're up to 5,000 gold lead, soon to be 6. The Dragon going down, and Rumble just pushing these minions. And this comes down to Rumble just winning that lane so hard. He's got 6 of his team's 8 kills, and most of them didn't come with assists. Which is the kind of funny part, is he just bullied that top lane around. And this shows what happens when your top lane wins this hard and the other team tries something kind of funny with that lane swap. If they just played it standard and Jayce was the only one down, it might have been okay for the red side. But with both Nunu and Caitlyn being virtually zoned out of their lane by Ezreal himself, by just Ezreal, that's when the problems come in. It looks like the blue side is just going to push down bottom as they try to land something on Trundle, but to no avail. Trundle does go down a nice pillar. There will not be any real engage. The pillar was not able to block anyone in or get enough slow. I'm not sure where his points are distributed, but he definitely needs more points in that pillar. That slow is pretty weak. Jayce throwing out some nice poke down bottom as Rumble's going to split push up top. And Rumble can split push pretty safely at this point. I don't foresee anyone being able to jump on and really burst him down by themselves. And it looks like there is a ward to be found by Nunu, and he will pick it up. You do see Trundle running in there, and he will be slowed by the Lulu, but they won't be able to engage much more as they are looking to just push them back. Problem is, they can't afford to just push them back at this point. Rumble is up top and pushing towers every single second they wait. Trundle just goes pull down, but does not get anyone, and the red team just needs to back up and prevent Rumble from actually taking base towers at this point. They just haven't been able to let that poke lineup work for them this game, as they've just been a little too far down on every single lane. Because none of their lanes won, with the exception of mid going basically even, and jungle basically going even. but that's not enough, as Rumble is so far ahead at this point. Rumble does pop his ultimate, and Caitlyn's in a lot of trouble. She does flash and runs away, but she will be taken down here by Rumble at max range, and Nunu does flash and exhaust, but not in time, as Xerath does take a good bit of damage and is going to be forced away. Ezreal does fly as the tower goes down bottom, and we are going to see an inhibitor go down. It looks like there's going to be a ton of damage coming out from this Ezreal. And Lux still have not completed her death cap, but I'm sure she could complete it at any point she wished. And we are going to see a push for the inhibitor at this point, as Ezreal and Lux will just continue to pound on it, with Elise and Lulu backing them up, ready to run at any point. So I think he's going to try and get in there and start something, but I don't think he's capable of it, as he does get stunned by Elise. Looks like we do have the Infinity Edge finally finished up on Caitlyn. We're going to have an AH of the Legion completed on Trundle in just a few moments. Nunu has picked up a Philosopher's Stone addition to the Sight Stone. Jayce going Brutalizer into Doran's Blade, Vampiric Scepter, and Hex Drinker. Xerath, I'm not sure what he's going this morning. He might be going DFG. He might go for a Death Cap, but I think he's going to go Fire Grasp for some reason, as that just seems to be what he's building. Looks like Lulu has picked up a Kindle Gem and Philosopher's Stone in addition to the Ruby Sight Stone. We do have Lux finishing off her Death Cap in addition to another Blasting Wand and a Doran's Ring. We do have Elise likely going to go for the Frozen Heart in addition to the Sight Stone. Or she could go for the... No, I don't think she's going to go for the Ancient Golem version of the Sight Stone, as she already does have Mercury Treads. Ezreal has completed Black Cleaver in addition to the Sheen. I expect him to go for the Frozen Iceborne Gauntlets, next. As Iceborne Gauntlets would allow him to basically kite anyone that tries to get on him and make him virtually invincible this game, outside of just being poked down to death or bursted by Xerath. And I don't think Ezreal's ever going to be in range of Xerath. Now Xerath just flashes in. But Lux throwing out some good damage in her ass. This tower is pretty low. I'm not sure the red team's going to be able to defend it, especially with Rumble pushing in hard up top and Super Minions pushing in the bottom lane. At this point, we really need to see some kind of engage come out from the red team. Though it looks like they are going to try and 2v1 Rumble up top. I don't think Rumble's actually going to take any real damage from it. And there goes the tower. Nunu and Jayce are going to jump in on Rumble, but Rumble is going to do a ton of damage, and that ultimate absolutely destroys. With Jayce not able to finish Rumble off, and that's a Nunu for nothing. And that is a problem, as it means Ezreal could push freely, but the ultimate for Caitlyn does back him up. And we are going to see a little bit of a reset from the blue side, as they really just need to kind of back up, take all the jungle objectives, as all their buffs are up, buy the next item, and then start this big push, as they can basically death push through the mid lane at the moment. As the inhibitor turret does go down, the inhibitor is short to follow, and we do have Jayce and Trundle killing the super minions on the other side. Looks like Lux with it binding hits 2 with their ultimate, and they are in deep trouble as the middle inhibitor does go down. With both bottom and middle inhibitors down, Baron is basically free at this point. You cannot actually defend it, and top tower, the top inhibitor tower does go down. Looks like they are going to rotate and try and finish it off, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to, as they just don't have enough damage at this point. But Rumble does throw his ultimate out and get some real big damage in there. And there's the big damage, the double kill for Rumble, finishing him up with the Flame Spitter. And that is just a whole lot of damage coming out. And that should be the final inhibitor. And good game, thanks to Rumble really snowballing them and shutting down that 2v1 lane. That 2v1 lane was a very good idea in theory, but because Rumble got first blood, picked up that extra armor, there's the surrender vote as the game is just about to end. And that was Rumble basically carrying his team so incredibly hard in the early game that all the mistakes that the blue side made, even though they were minor, they were not that hard. They didn't really feel them. Rumble just snowballed from the word go, picking up the first blood, in addition to making sure that Caitlyn Nunu never got even in the lane, which allowed Ezreal to farm up. And just look at how many minions Ezreal killed. 258 minions that game. He basically got to sit down there at the bottom, free farming the entire time. And we are off to game number 2. Thank you for watching games cast by paroL. For more commented games, please visit my YouTube and stream channels.